Russia is a land of immense scale. It stretches across 11 time zones, frozen tundra, dense taiga forests, sun-drenched steppes. Its story is as epic as its landscape. A narrative woven from conquest, faith, and survival. Slavic tribes along the great rivers of Eastern Europe. Farmers, traders, lives tied to the seasons. In 988, Prince Vladimir embraced Orthodox Christianity, a choice that shaped Russia's soul, linking it to Byzantium. Kievan Rus' fractured under internal rivalries. Then, from the east came a storm, the Mongol invasion. Moscow rose from the shadows, planting seeds of a new identity. Ivan III cast off the Mongol yoke in 1480 and claimed a sovereign Russia. In 1547, Ivan was crowned the first Tsar, complex, cruel, Ivan the Terrible. His terror and expansion cemented autocratic power, but a new dynasty and a broader empire was about to emerge. The death of Ivan's son plunged Russia into the time of troubles, chaos, famine, foreign invasion, a nation desperate for a unifying force. In 1613, Michael Romanov was chosen, a dynasty that would last 3 centuries. They transformed a fractured realm into one of the world's largest empires. Peter the Great traveled to Europe to learn shipbuilding, military drill, and bureaucracy. He built a navy and a European-facing capital, St. Petersburg. Catherine the Great championed Enlightenment ideas and patronized the arts. She expanded the empire, and the court glittered even as serfdom persisted. A gilded cage, opulence for few, brutal serfdom for millions. Yet out of contradiction came extraordinary literature and music. Defeat in the Crimean War exposed deep weaknesses. Alexander II emancipated the serfs in 1861. Vital but incomplete reform. Revolutionary movements grew. The gilded cage began to crack. The stage was set for a dramatic upheaval. A slow-burning crisis reached a flashpoint in the 20th century, and the dawn of a new era approached. The Romanovs' reign had changed Russia, but not removed its contradictions. The dawn of the 20th century found the Romanov Empire teetering. Nicholas II, devoted to family, weak as a ruler. Industrialization spawned a poor urban working class. Defeat abroad and bloody Sunday at home shattered confidence. World War I inflicted staggering casualties and shortages. Food shortages and economic chaos turned people against the Tsar. In February 1917, spontaneous strikes and women's protests ignited revolution. Soldiers mutinied. Within days, the Romanov dynasty crumbled. A provisional government promised reform but failed to deliver peace, land, and bread. A power vacuum opened. Into that vacuum stepped Lenin and a disciplined party, the Bolsheviks. Lenin seized the moment in October 1917. The October Revolution stormed the Winter Palace and claimed power in the name of the Soviets. What followed was a brutal civil war, Reds versus Whites, costing millions. The Red Terror, famine, and war left the nation in ruins. By 1922, a new state was proclaimed, the USSR. A grand and terrifying experiment in social engineering had begun, and a harder, darker chapter was looming. The Soviet victory over Nazi Germany came at a staggering price, over 27 million lives, a sacrifice that forged Soviet legitimacy and pride. The post-war order became bipolar, the USSR versus the United States. A tense nuclear standoff defined global politics for decades. Soviet achievements dazzled, Sputnik, Gagarin, the space race. Military might and rapid industrialization reshaped society, at a cost. Stalin's purges, gulags, and engineered famines killed millions, a nation of achievement shadowed by unimaginable suffering. By the 1980s, the planned economy stagnated. Shortages were routine. The Afghan war drained resources and morale. In 1985, Gorbachev introduced glasnost and perestroika, openness and restructuring. Reforms unleashed forces he could not control. Republics rose, Eastern Europe turned away. 1989 brought the fall of the Berlin Wall. Soviet control evaporated in Eastern Europe. A failed coup in August 1991 sealed the Soviet Union's fate. By December, the USSR had collapsed. 15 new states emerged. A superpower dissolved. Russia entered a painful, chaotic transition to a market economy. Yet Russia's size, resources, and history meant it would not remain on the sidelines for long. To understand Russia, we must also understand its culture. Beyond czars and commissars lies a rich cultural soul. Literature, music, art, religion, food, and daily life. Russian literature is a universe. Tolstoy, Dostoevsky, Tchaikovsky, voices of a people. Tolstoy's epic questions about history and the human heart. Dostoevsky's probing of faith, guilt, and redemption. In music, Tchaikovsky and Stravinsky carried Russian feeling to the world. In art, Kandinsky and Malevich pushed modernism into the avant-garde. Orthodox Christianity shaped rituals, icons, and the cadence of life. From painted eggs to kulich, tradition persists. Hospitality revolves around food. Samovar tea, borscht, pelmeni, blini, hearty dishes that comfort and connect people. Russia is home to over 190 ethnic groups: Tatars, Siberian indigenous peoples, North Caucasus communities. Each adds unique languages, music, and traditions to the tapestry. Folk music, dance, and craft keep regional identities alive, and city life mixes the ancient and the modern every day. Faith survived suppression and has resurged since the USSR's collapse. Russia's cultural output continues to shape world art and thought. This cultural wealth fuels national identity and global influence. Next, how Russia turned culture, resources, and arms into international power. The 1991 collapse reshaped the global order. Russia entered a painful decade of economic collapse and humiliation. Yet vast energy resources provided a path back to influence. Pipelines like Nord Stream gave Russia leverage over European energy supplies. Russia maintained formidable military capabilities and modernized key systems. It projected power in places like Syria to assert global reach. As one of the largest nuclear powers, Russia commands strategic respect. A permanent UN Security Council seat gives it a decisive voice. Russia uses diplomacy, culture, and state-backed media to shape narratives abroad. Partnerships with China and BRICS broaden its geopolitical options. NATO expansion and Western diplomacy became focal points of tension. Conflicts from Georgia to Crimea reshaped European security and provoked sanctions. Energy has been used to reward allies and pressure adversaries. Combined hard and soft power keeps Russia at the top table, often disruptively. Its choices ripple globally. Geopolitics, energy markets, and security arrangements shift. But Russia's influence is not inexhaustible. Its path faces limits and costs, which leads us to the dilemmas of modern Russia. As we stand in 2025, modern Russia is a study in contradictions. Gleaming skyscrapers beside Soviet blocs, prosperity and stagnation side by side. Under Vladimir Putin, a strong centralized state was rebuilt, the power vertical. But that stability often comes at the expense of political freedoms and independent media. Society is divided. Patriotism and pride on one side, calls for openness and reform on the other. A dynamic urban middle class and entrepreneurs push for a different future. Economically reliant on energy exports, Russia is vulnerable to price swings and sanctions. Demographic decline and aging pose long-term challenges. Russia must balance ties with a rising China, a wary Europe, and a rival United States. Russia walks a tightrope between internal stability and external projection. Its story of struggle, resilience, and reinvention is far from over. Understanding Russia's history, culture, and choices is crucial in our interconnected age. Its decisions will ripple across the world in the years to come. This is Our World, exploring nations, their history, and culture. Stay tuned and keep updated.